Well, looking back on San Jose, I thought we played really, really well, played extremely hard, had several instances where subbing guys out because of fatigue because they were playing so hard. So just an overall great performance on the road. Obviously playing good basketball. And now we got to turn the page to a Nevada team that broke our heart twice last year, and have got guys who were on that team. Obviously a team that went to the NCAA tournament, and Lucas and Blackshear, as good as any two players we will face. So a great challenge. Excited to be back home, in front of our amazing fans, and got a great opportunity coming up on Sunday night.
They're a team that, in mentioning both their guards, Lucas obviously is the more, traditional maybe shooting guard, but Blackshear being a huge point for them and backing you down. You guys haven't faced a whole lot of big guards that back you down, and I think that's what people in general think would be your weakness with three small guards. Have you faced anything quite like Blackshear quite this season so far that you can compare it to?
I don't think so. He's kind of evolved into Maldonado a little bit. They're doing some similar things to when Maldonado was there 2 years ago. No, he was there last year. So some guys on the team have faced a big guard like that. So there's some similarities there. There's not a lot of similarities this year, for sure, with anybody that we've played. So it's a tough challenge.
Is there something you guys see from what you did with him last year, or tried to defend him last year, that you're going to, change? You want to tell us the whole play?
Yeah, hell of a question. Every time you play a team, you look back at last year, what you did well, what you didn't do well, and see if maybe there's something you could do different. So, that's going to be normal with every team that we play, and see if we can certainly do a better job and see what weaknesses we can expose.
The pressure that you guys are playing, though, in general, is a little different than last year, and maybe that's part of it, right? It's not just on Blackshear, it's on everybody that you guys are.
Yeah, you're going to have to make a decision of who's going to guard him, but they got some bigger guards too. Besides, Lucas is, like you said, more of a traditional guard, but it's we'll have to work over the next 2 days on what we think may work, a counter to if it's not working, and kind of go from there.
Coach, you look at the last 4 games, all double-digit victories, and even at San Jose State, all your starters double digits that night as well. This kind of consistency, where does that come from, or how's you been able to do that?
It certainly started with San Diego State and Utah State, and I think that momentum certainly has got our guys playing very confidently. You'd love to see that momentum last all the way into March. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. There's going to be bumps in the road, but I think they're practicing hard. I think they're confident, and they should be. They're playing really well right now. So we got to make sure we see what that formula is, whether it's the defensive intensity, whether it's blocking shots, whether it's balance offensively, and continue to stay the course.
Coach, I'm just curious. I have people asking me about this matchup. Who cares what people say? But have you noticed that this is a big-time matchup for the fans? And have you noticed just people even talking to you about this matchup?
No, not really. To me, the whole who was the coach here before thing, I don't know. I kind of feel like it's going away a little bit. I hope it is, not for anyone's sake, really. I think our last 2 home games were 2 ranked teams. Now we've got a Nevada team that's really, really good, and then we've got a Boise State team really good. So for me and anyone I've really talked to, I think it's more so about that than Steve Alford coaching here, Craig Neal coaching here. And I would hope at some point we can move past that, but people don't always seem to do that.
Nelly he's got this weird ability to create turnovers at the top of the key. Is that something that is just a matchup for him where he's just quick-handed? We can talk all day about Jalen House, but that's something he's been doing all year.
He's really good at it. And he had one on the sideline by our bench at San Jose where he just shot the gap, got the steal. He had one on a hedge on a ball screen opposite their bench. He obviously had a kind of a game-winning one at New Mexico State. So that's one of the reasons why we changed kind of our ball screen scheme, is because he's pretty good at that. And I think he had 4 steals last game, which is great. So we want him to certainly continue to be aggressive in that situation.
You mentioned it in your opening statement, but the 2 heartbreakers last year, have you kind of maybe heard, I'm sure it's not you leading the charge, but the players in the locker room who were here last year, has it sort of on their mind and the fuel that coming into this matchup?
I don't know. I mean, I think they remember it. It was at their place we had it. Obviously, the one here was a little bit more heartbreaking because it's shot at the buzzer. So I'm sure Mash and House and Donovan and Quentin and Braden and Sebastian probably are talking about it, but it's got nothing really to do with this year, similar to San Diego State getting us last year at the buzzer. So we kind of focus on what we can control, learn from if we made mistakes or what we did well, and kind of go from there.
You kind of mentioned changing the defensive scheme with Nelly coming off the ball screens and stuff. Do you feel like anything else has changed with the intensity of defense? It looks like communication's been kind of up too the last few games.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at our team this time last year, we started 18-2. And I was asked today on the radio about that. And while we were sitting there 18-2, we had St. Mary's and San Diego State road wins in our back pocket. I think the difference is a defensive identity. I think we have a level of confidence that we'll be able to score if we play the right way. But I think all the things that we recognized about last year's shortcomings, we may have addressed with recruiting, as well as guys understanding that, that's what we need to elevate. We've done that. So I think that level of confidence for sure is there, more so than last year on the defensive side of it.
As a follow-up to kind of the Nelly and the defensive kind of communication, all that, Nelly hedging as much as he does leaves an opening that you guys have been able to avoid, I guess, having them exposed. And I thought a couple times they could have at San Jose State and weren't able to. Are you guys doing something a little different to make sure, that big man doesn't just wide open run towards the rim while Nelly's way out there?
Yeah, it's all connected. If you're going to commit 2 to the basketball, the other 3 guys are just as important as 2 that are on the ball, where I think Nelly is very good at it, so that one helps. But if you leave that dive guy vulnerable, the other guys have got to do their part. We weren't perfect in that at San Jose. There was a couple times we got a little bit screwed up on some rotations. But it's been pretty good for us so far. So we do drill it, and it's just as important to the off-ball guys as the on-ball guys.
You guys have been better scrambling just in general.
For sure.
Why is that? How do you get better at scrambling?
Well, we're scrambling more because we are putting 2 on the ball. So the scheme is causing us to scramble a little bit more, and that's fine. There's kind of a movement of not wanting to scramble in basketball, be in a drop coverage, play one-on-one defense, where we've kind of gotten away from that. And, I wrote on the board several times last game and said it, embrace the scramble, whether that's you helped and you got to recover or you got to rebound out of a scramble, and so on. So we've certainly been covering for each other better.
You said something interesting with Rob the other night after the game, how when the game is tight, the guys tend to slow down a little bit. I'm just curious, is that just the fact that you're in a tight game and guys don't want to make mistakes or be more cautious?
Yeah, I think I don't remember why I said that, but I think the point is we're trying to run on makes. And we had some phenomenal moments at San Jose of getting the ball in quick, pitching it up to Donovan, hitting up ahead and doing that. Maybe it's they're looking down at me because they're going the other way in the second half. But I want to continue to play at that great pace regardless of what the score is, up 10, down 10, whatever. And that's something we've talked about. And there are times for sure where you can't get it out cleanly and get it up the court where you need to slow down and run a set. But I do think we've had some great offensive outputs because we've been pushing the pace.
They're a team that is, I think, top 10 today. I think they're 9th in free throw rate. They get to the line a lot. You guys are fouling a lot with this defense in general.
Not last game.
Not last game. So for the most part, when you guys have been at your best, you've been able to defend this way without fouling Is there a concern or is there any back off going against a team that relies so much on the free throw line and is good at getting there?
No, I mean, we're never telling guys to foul. So, you know, we want to be aggressive, but we don't want to foul. I thought we showed that last game. They only shot 5 free throws. So, I mean, you know, Lucas does a great job of getting fouled. Blackshear does a great job of getting fouled. So over the next 2 days, we will prepare to play the way we want to, but in a fundamental, within the rules of the game type style.